Hi, welcome to yoga. We're going to be doing a restorative practice. Before we start, perhaps you should get some props so that you'll be ready. This is a practice that really does work to support your body. I have all kinds of bolsters. I have a couple of these. You could have pillows. I have my blocks. And I also have some blankets or shawls. You can use them to put under your head, or when we get into Savasana, you can use that to cover up with. So why don't you press pause for the video and then come back when you have all your things so that you can have a supportive, restorative practice and really support your body. Okay, great. Well, welcome. I hope you have all your space and you have all your things. I'm going to invite you to get into a comfortable seated position. I like to just have my legs crossed like this in front of me. Some people prefer to sit on a bolster. It's whatever is comfortable in your body. So again, just get ready, have your comfortable position, whether that's seated, with your legs crossed or out, you'll decide. Before we start, I want to just add that I'll be giving you invitations to try things. They're just that. They're invitations. If something doesn't feel right, then don't do it. It is your practice. Really make it your own. So let's begin by settling in. Start to settle in, observing your breath. There's no need to change it. Your hands could be on your laps, down by your side. Again, you decide. You can have your eyes closed, or you could have a soft gaze. Again, it is your practice, whatever you are comfortable with. And before we go any further into our practice, I invite you to set an intention. Perhaps it's being present or listening to your body and or inviting peace. I'm working on peace, not only for myself, but to send it out in the world. So just take a moment to think about what it is that you want to do for this practice. What is your intention? So begin by breathing in. Breathe in that intention to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Stay in the pause for a bit, thinking about that intention. And then exhale it back out into the world for perhaps the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. Again, you're breathing in to the count of 3, staying in the pause, and then exhaling to the count of 3. So breathe in your intention. 1, 2, 3. Staying in the pause, and exhale it back out into the world. Now I'd like you to do one round at your own pace. Breathing in, pausing, exhaling, pausing, and then just returning to your breath in and out. Excellent. Let's take a few shoulders rolls. We're going to roll our shoulders back. And while you're doing this, I want you to imagine squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades. And we're going to do this 5 times, really taking our time with it. So 1, squeezing those shoulders back and feeling like we're going to squeeze a pencil, feeling the stretch across the chest and down. Inhale up, squeeze, down. 3 more times. Inhaling up. And as you're exhaling, you're squeezing those shoulder blades together and down and out. Now, 1 more time. Now we went to the back. Let's try to roll our shoulders forward 5 times. You want to try to roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Inhale, and then as you exhale, you're moving them down. And for these, sometimes you might want to move your hands up or leave them on your lap. Again, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to do those 5 times. Take your time with them, really getting those kinks out. And when you finish with the 5, just come back to neutral and take your time. Now we're going to hang our head slightly. I want you to try to imagine holding a tennis ball, like in between your chest and your chin. And it's just gently hanging. And then we're going to imagine saying no to someone, gently moving it from side to side for 5 times. We inhale in the center, exhale to the side. You can do this at your own pace. Again, when you get to center, you're inhaling, exhale it out to the side, back to the center, inhale to the other side. And you want to do 5 complete rounds back and forth. And you'll notice you can feel a stretch on the side of your neck. You could even, put your arm down to get a deeper stretch if you want. Have some fun with it. Again, this is your practice. Okay. Now with your head back to neutral, you bring your head back to neutral. And we want to pretend that we're saying yes to someone. So breathe up, inhale in, and exhale down. And again, you'll feel the stretching in the back of your neck. And so be gentle. And you want to do this 5 times. Inhale up, exhale down. And when you're ready, when you do your 5, then just come back to neutral and just have an upright seated position still with your feet crossed or legs out in front of you. Now we're going to try doing a head to shoulder. So you can gently take one side, take your hand and gently push that head to the shoulder, but you want to be gentle with it and take your time. Don't force anything. And you're inhaling when you're in the center, exhaling down. And you can even have some experimentation with your other arm. You could put it in the back, in the side, the front. Again, this is your practice and you want to have your experimentation with it. And back. So you're going to do these 5 times on this side. Now remember, you're breathing in when you're in the center and exhaling down. And gently do those on your own. Okay, and then come to neutral when you're ready to begin your other side. And then just do it on the other side for 5 times, gently taking that opposite side, hand to your head, gently putting it down to the shoulder. And remember, you're inhaling when you're in center, exhaling out. And you might want to stay here for a few. And again, you can get a bigger stretch by putting this arm down and moving it. And back up. Again, you're doing this for 5 times. 3, and 5. Okay. All right, and when you're ready, just remain in neutral. Okay, big breath in. And out, exhale it. Go back to our shoulder rolls. We're gonna roll back 5 times. Again, remember that pencil in the shoulder blades, trying to squeeze that. And we inhale up. Exhale as we squeeze our shoulder blades. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we want to do that to the front. And again, roll forward for 5 times. Inhale and exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale as you're coming down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Now we're going to do what's called an arm chest stretch, and you're going to take one arm across your chest, and with your opposite arm, put it in between the crook of your elbow, and you want to gently stretch and just count to 5. 1, inhaling and exhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bring them back. I like to stretch my arms out and like just sort of feel the stretch back. And then you take the opposite arm and do the same thing. You're going to stretch it across your chest for the count of 5. Inhaling and exhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And down. And again, I like to stretch my hands out. The next thing we're going to do is a mantra called Shanti. Shanti means peace. So not only for yourself, for peace in the world. If this is your practice, this is fine. And if not, it's okay too. You could even say the word peace. I like to put movement in with my mantras. So we're going to be doing, our hands are going to go out and then they're going to meet in the middle, one hand over the other in front of our chest. And it's going to go something like this. Breathing in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then the opposite hand. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We're going to do this for a couple minutes. I just want to say that if you don't want to say Shanti, that's fine. You could use the word peace. You could think it or say it. Whatever is your practice and you're comfortable with, it is fine. So here we go. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 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 Thank you. So again, that chant means peace for not only yourself, but sending it out into the world. Now is when we're going to use some of our props. And the next pose that we're doing is called supported butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana. And I hope I said that right. I'm working on that. I'm practicing on that. We're going to be here for about 10 minutes. So what you want to do is you want to lay down on your yoga mat. You could put a cushion under your head if you want. That's optional. I like to have my blankets under my head. You're going to slide down. My bolster's out of the way for you. You want to put your feet together. Imagine like butterfly wings, right? And you're going to lay down. I like to have my legs supported with bolsters on the side of me. And not only do I have my legs supported, but I also support my arms with blocks. This is a restorative pose. So whatever works for you. You're going to also notice that I'm going to come in and out of the poses so that I can just observe and make sure that we're sort of doing everything. It's meant for a personal practice. So again, whatever works for you. I've seen people that have put their feet up like this. So again, whatever works for you. And let's begin again, thinking about your breath, breathing in and out. This is a great pose too, to sort of if you want to have a soft gaze or close your eyes and just sort of sink into it. This pose is meant to be able to relax you, and it helps to improve circulation and calm the nervous system. It helps to relieve stress, and just wonderfully relaxing. You could also do this pose with your hands on your belly. They don't necessarily have to be on blocks or by your side. So again, whatever works best for you. So as we breathe in and out, perhaps you think of that intention we set at the beginning, breathing it in and out. And the other thing is to think about a butterfly. Perhaps you imagine a butterfly. There's so many different colors. You know, is it a yellow one or an orange one, landing on flowers? And the gentleness of their wings as they glide along ever so gently, light, seamlessly. Just picture that. Just the airiness of the wings, the lightness. Breathing in and out. Let your breath anchor you. Breathing at your own rhythm. Just observing your breath, not trying to change it. And again, if visualizing a butterfly helps to bring you calmness or joy, I invite you to do so. Imagine that butterfly flying, landing on a flower. What color is the flower? Just gently sitting there, drinking its nectar. As you're breathing in and out. We have about 5 more minutes to relax into it. Thanking your body for showing up. Welcoming calm. Time for quiet. To restore yourself. Excuse me. Breathing in. Breathing out. A few more minutes. Again, excuse me. Perhaps you observe the gentle rising and falling of your chest or stomach. You have about 2 more minutes. As you prepare to get out of this position to ready yourself for the next, you want to gently use your hands to glide your legs together, and then you can come up into a seated position. And the next pose that we're going to do is called a reclined twist. It's Supta Motsyarasana. Again, I'm working on my pronunciation, so I apologize if I did not get that right. For this pose, what we're going to do is we're going to lay down on our back, hug our knees into our chest. So let's begin by just doing that. Let's lay down on your back. I will demonstrate. So you're going to lay down on your back, hug your knees into your chest, and then you want to roll over to one side. It doesn't matter what side you choose, we'll be doing the other side as well. So this is really good for the digestion. And if you want to do some support with it, some people use a bolster and you can put it under your leg like this, or you could have it, you might not need any support and just have your foot up or your knee reaching down. Again, use your props to help you. And as you're doing that, your arms could be coming into a T shape or a cactus. I have all my little props here. I need to move them out of the way. I apologize. Let me get that out of the way so you can see me better. Again, you came over to your side like this. I have my arms out to a T. And then you look over to your opposite shoulder. And you'll feel that. You'll feel the stretching here. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes. So again, use your props wherever you feel like it would be necessary. Some people use blocks underneath their knees to help them, or they use their bolster. Again, whatever invites comfort into your body, it is your practice. And we'll stay here for about 5 minutes. And this pose is also really kind of neat because it sort of gives your internal organs a massage, which is releasing. And it aids with your digestive system. It's also really good for your nervous system. A couple more minutes as you lay here. Your hands could be on your stomach, down by your side. There's many different things that you could do with your arms. Again, you decide. And as much as you're able to keep that opposite shoulder touching the ground as you're stretching and keeping them both flat on the ground if possible. If your shoulder raises up, it's really, it's okay. It's your body, and our bodies all work differently. You may decide that you want to just have your knee closer up to you and bend it like that. That's fine too. Or you might be, super flexible and you can get your knee to the floor. You can straighten your leg out or bring the floor up to you with your props. Another minute. Okay, you want to gently roll to the center. I like to give myself a big hug with my knees to the chest, just hug them, feet down to the ground. And now we're going to do the other side. So you want to move your hips toward that direction and then lower your legs down. Again, you can have your top leg straightened out onto a prop, a block. I know it's hard to see me. You can also have your arms out into a T fashion or straight down. I'm going to think about that digesting. I'm going to turn back around so that I can see. But remember that we're going to be here for about 5 minutes and just experiment with it. You can experiment with your props. Again, you could have a towel between your knees, a block, putting your foot on top of a block or your leg on top of your block, and experimenting with the position of your arms and your hands. Sometimes, again, I like to just put them on the hands onto my side as I feel that twist. And if you want more of a twist, you can take your head and look over the opposite shoulder, being careful and mindful, though, to not overstretch as you gaze over your shoulder and look down. So again, we'll be here for a total of about 5 minutes. And just focusing on your breath. Just observe it as you breathe in and out. And what does that feel like in your body? Observe it. As you're in a twisted position, does it feel different on your ribs? Can you feel it in your abdomen? What's going on? Maybe about another half a minute or so. Okay, gently roll back to center. And give yourself a big hug, knees to the chest. Maybe you even roll around a little bit, loosening up that lower back. The next pose that we're going to do is called a reclined pigeon or Supta Kapta. I really cannot pronounce this one. I am working on it. Again, I apologize. It's Supta Kapta Sana reclined pigeon. I also go by figure 4. So you want to be lying down, your knees on your back with your knees bent like this. And you could have a towel under your head or a little pillow. You really don't want your head propped up a lot. You don't want to cause strain on your neck. And then you want to gently draw one knee to your chest. It could be your left, it could be your right, whatever works for you. And then you want to gently bring it across the opposite leg. Imagine a figure 4, right? And then you gently take your hand through, pulling that thigh closer. Now, this is where people have all different kinds of function and ability, right? Our bodies are all different. So some people are able to stretch further down, they can come up here. You could push that opposite leg with your figure 4 to do that. I have a pin in my right knee, so I'm always really super careful. I do use this, and I'll grab my thigh and sort of push this back and use my opposite arm to push my leg a little bit further back. And again, it looks like a figure 4. So you experiment with the way that you push in or out on your body, and you want to make sure that you're not overstraining. And again, this will be different for everybody. So we'll be here for 5 minutes on each side. You can do this, and this opens up the hips It helps to relieve the tension. It helps to actually improve circulation as well with the lower body. The other thing I forgot to mention is you want to make sure that you have like your foot flexed, your lower foot flexed right here. Your feet are flexed, pointing up. And I experiment with them. I move them back and forth. But I have joint issues. And so I really am mindful about how far that I'm pushing my body and what I'm doing. So again, here's the cool thing about yoga, right? Our bodies are all different and it's accessible for everybody. We just have to be mindful of our body and what we need and modify it to do that. And certainly work with your yoga teachers to help you to figure that out if you're having trouble with that, because we want to make sure that we don't do anything to injure ourselves. And restorative yoga is that, right? It's supposed to restore and help us. So we don't want to be pushing. There's like that fine line, that balance, if you will. Okay, about another minute. Okay, we want to gently take your upper leg, move it down, and then plant both feet on the floor. Okay, and then you're going to take the opposite leg, the one that you did not do. Bring that one up, bring that knee to your chest, and then bring it down over the opposite leg. And think about that figure 4, right? And bring up your underleg. And again, we're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to put your hands wherever is most comfortable. For me, it's on my upper thigh. Other people, it's down here. Really work with what works best for you. And I use the opposite arm to go into that same side on my knee, pressing the 4 out. And again, as I had mentioned earlier, you want to flex your feet, and I experiment with that. And I also experiment with how much I'm pushing or pulling. And it opens up your hips. And there's some days where, I'm pretty fluid. Other days I feel a little bit tight. And so I'm just more mindful and more careful. Again, here's the neat thing about yoga, right? Accessible to everybody. We all have different body types. And given the day, our bodies act differently. You might be able to do something on a Monday, and then you go to do it on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and you're like, oh, wow, my hips are pretty tight today. So this is a great pose for that. Okay, maybe you can even pay attention to your breath going in and out. I have a few more minutes here. We have about another minute. Okay, getting ready. Gently move that leg down. You may decide to give yourself a hug with your knees and down to the floor. And then just rest here for a moment as we get ready for our next pose. Our next pose is going to be called Happy Baby, Ananda Balasana.
I really struggle with the pronunciation, but I am working on it, and it's learning another language, right? So we're going to be in Happy Baby for about five minutes. You want to lay on your back, move your knees up, and then, so this is one that I may struggle with on certain days, but I think it's like such a fun pose, the name, Happy Baby. You want to grab your feet and push them, bend your knees towards your armpits and reach your hands to your feet. So because of some of the mobility issues that I have, my knees will look differently perhaps than other people. Bending them to my armpit is a little bit more difficult. So you decide what your body is capable of doing. And again, this pose, I have fun with it. Like, you make it your own. I might move one leg up and then back down, the opposite leg up and down, roll around. Imagine a baby when they're playing with their feet and they're like discovering things for the first time. So you're the happy baby, right? You're doing that in your body. And so, again, if it's better for you to just be lying comfortably quiet and doing that, that's fine. If you want more movement in your body, you can do that. You can move one leg and then the other. You can go rolling around on your lower spine, back and forth. Again, happy baby. So we'll be here for about 4 more minutes. Just rolling around. Focusing on your breath, letting that be your anchor perhaps. Breathing in, out. And maybe you go back to your intention. What was that intention that you thought of? You're thinking about that while you're in this pose. Breathe in that intention and then exhale it back into the world. A few more minutes. You know, sometimes when I'm having like a bit of a difficulty with the mobility in my body, I might just grab my ankles, and you can grab anywhere here. I mean, you're working on restoring your body. You're adding calmness and helping it to stretch and feel good, right? That's sort of the goal of this. It's one of the goals, and you're showing up and you're doing it. So work with your body. What is it asking you to do? What does it need? And our poses will look different for everybody. It's okay. Again, I just keep going back to yoga should be accessible for all. All right. Get ready to come out. Give your legs, your knees to your chest. Big hug. Gently put your feet down on the floor. And we're going to get ready to go into our next pose, which is going to be bridge pose. This is a supported one. So you may decide to get your props. I use blocks. So gently come up, put your legs out, move your body up. If your props, are not close enough to you, you want to make sure that you're going to get them. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay on our back, and we're going to put a rolled up blanket or bolster. Perhaps you'd put that across your mat.
I just lay right on my mat and I lay on top of my block, whatever works for you. Okay, so let's decide decide what you want to do. And for me, again, I'm going to keep my block handy right by the side. I'm going to lay down. Maybe stretch your feet out. And then you want to slide your feet up. Your prop, whatever you're choosing to do, you're going to raise your lower end up, slide that prop under it, shoulders back. You can feel the shoulders on the ground. I have a towel under my head. You might decide to do that. And you're going to stay here for about, I think we're going to stay here for 10 minutes. We're going to do this for 10 minutes. And so again, this is a really good pose for, it ends up strengthening and helping with our back. It expands the front of the body. You can feel that sort of pulling there and stretching it. And we also have it restores and replenishes the nervous system, and it can help relieve back pain. And I have a degenerative disc disease, so this pose is really helpful on days where I'm struggling. And I experiment with the block. Like, I put it in different spots that will help because you want it to be supportive and help you. And again, some people decide that they're going to lay on top of a whole bolster. And I can demonstrate that. I'm going to lift myself up, pull the prop of the block out, and I'll grab my bolster so that I can show you. So some people will have the bolster like this, and then you're using the bolster to help you and to lay down like that. And you might even put a block underneath your head. I don't do this one this often like this, so it's not something that I'm used to, but certainly it helps, right? And it supports more of your spine. And so you could do that as well. Again, use the props to help you, whatever feels good in your body. And different days are different things. You know, I might have a day where I do this and I put blocks underneath my arms to support. Again, you decide about that. Okay, so you're going to just rest here for a couple minutes. And I'm going to come out of this, gently roll down. You have about another 2 minutes. Or I'm sorry, actually we're here for 10 minutes, so we have another 5. And again, as you're laying there, perhaps you think about that intention that you set, breathing it in, exhaling it out. And let your breath be your anchor. This pose too, the bridge pose is also really good. As I mentioned, that it helps to restore your nervous system, but it also helps to relax that fight or flight mechanism. It really does calm the body down and helps to restore that. And I think often we don't even realize how perhaps stressed that we are, and that our bodies take like a big sigh when we nurture it and we give our bodies what they need. It's almost like we can feel it, and it switches on the parasympathetic nervous system, so the calming system, to help you with that, to help all of us with that, actually. We have another couple minutes. Again, just thinking about your breath as you're breathing in and out. This is, a great place to perhaps to do a visualization. What's your favorite place to go to? Could you imagine that? Where are you? Are you laying on a beach? Are you sitting by a brook? Use this time to restore you, whatever will work best for you. Ask your body what it needs. A few more minutes. Just observing your breath. In and out. As you're going to get ready to come out of this pose, gently breathe in, exhale. And so you're up. You want to be careful. You want to lift your block or your whatever prop you have out from under you. Gently bring your body down. And then you can just lay there for a few minutes. I'm going to go over what our next pose is going to be because this one is a little bit trickier. It's restorative. It's a supported fold, Paschimottanasana. However, if you have like any sciatica or problems with your back or injury, you want to be careful with this pose. And if you're pregnant, it's really not encouraged to do this. You should avoid this pose, and you could just go into a child pose. Let me explain though first what we're going to do, and then we'll do it. To set up this pose, you're going to want to experiment with a combination of blankets and bolsters. So I have all kinds of bolsters here. Here's the cool thing about yoga. It doesn't take a whole lot of space, right? So I have all my stuff around me. And we're going to be starting off in a seated up position, and we're going to be placing our props on top of us. So before we do that, make sure you gather what you think that you're going to need. I also usually have a towel behind my head. That's not necessary. That's sort of what you want to do. You can use a combination of blankets and props. So again, you want to make sure that you have those all around. And we're going to be starting off in what's called a staff pose, right? So we're going to be like this. Our legs are out straight. We're sitting up straight. And then we're going to be folding over our props. So you're really bringing the floor up to you. You want to have your feet flexed. And so I experiment with this pose, and there are days where I might not need as many props, right? So you decide. You might decide to put towels on you. I build it up. There are days that I can bend farther than other days. That's not a big deal. You're bringing it up to you wherever you are. Some people, it's great. They can bend down, but it's also great if you're right up here. Again, honor your body and wherever you're at. So today, you know what? I'm thinking I'm going to need a couple props, and I'm going to be like this. You're going to be folding over it. You want to be careful not to round your back. And, you know, there's days where I'm even like this. I have a block like this. Today, for me, the two props like this are working just fine for me. You can have your hands on top of the prop, which could be bolsters or towels. They could be down by the floor. Sometimes I do this. I have my head on top of my hands and arms or out. Really experiment with this pose because it's one that I think that changes, you know, given wherever you're at in your body. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. And so again, even during that time, you can experiment with the bolsters. So you want to inhale, keeping your front torso long and then leaning it forwards. And just settle in, listening to your breath, observing it. Then we'll be here for 5 minutes. Your arms could be on the sides, on your props. And you also, like I said, could decide to do a supported child pose, or you might want to just say for this one, I'm just going to sit, or I'm going to like sit with my arms crossed on this. You can do a supported child pose by just bringing your bolsters down and getting into a regular child's pose with your knees going back. Let me see if I can show you this. Child's pose is a little bit difficult for me because of my bad knee, but you want to take this, get your child pose, and you're using your bolsters to help support you. Again, this is one that doesn't, for me, just doesn't feel good in my body, and it really aggravates my knee. So I tend to not do it. I improvise. I do a different kind of pose. It's okay. Yoga is accessible for everybody. So that's the cool thing. That's why I love yoga. It's, you know, whatever works in your body. Okay, we have about 2 more minutes. And sometimes I just lose track of time. So, you know, that's also been going on during this. So we try to do the best that we can. We show up, we're mindful, and we're present. A couple more minutes. Again, just settling into that breath, honoring the breath. And it really like releases part of your back. This pose is also really good for your nervous system. Most of them are, to be quite honest with you, because you're calming your body down. It's said to decrease energy. And again, this might be a pose that could be challenging if you have tight hamstrings. Sometimes it's really difficult. So always support your head while you're folding forward. And again, it also calms your mind and helps to stretch your spine and shoulders and hamstrings. And you can be at various lengths. Again, you might have a day where you're just needing a couple bolsters, or maybe there's a day where you can go a little bit lower, or, you know, experiment with those props. Props are our friend. I'm really having fun with that. Okay, again, I tend to lose a little bit of time when I'm doing that, but about another minute. Okay, as you're getting ready to come out of this, I want just be sort of careful. You want to make sure that when you're coming out of this pose that you slowly lift your head away from the supports with a flat back and spend a moment sitting up. What do you notice? Are you noticing anything different in your back? So just like take a minute. Let's take a minute and observe that. How are we feeling? The next pose, let me get my bolsters out of the way, our props. The next pose is called legs up the wall. This is a great pose to do right before bed. It's really calming. I'm going to demonstrate this pose, but then I'm going to get out so that I can talk to you. I really don't want my back to the camera. You want to make sure that we're seated straight, seated upright, and then you want to take your hip, whichever side works for you, and you want to bring it close to the wall. I'll also show you that this can be done with a chair. It can be done also with props or I do this on the couch a lot of times when I'm watching TV. So you want to go down here and you're just going to lay down your hips against the wall and you're going to slide it up. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that. And so I'm up against the wall, my legs are supported, and you're right up against there. And you just lay here. Your hands can be on top of your belly, they can be down by the side, you might have cactus arms, but we're going to hang out for 10 minutes doing this. And again, I was just doing that to demonstrate. And when you are coming out of this, you want to be careful. So you want to slide down on your side using your arm to lift up. And as I had mentioned, this could also be done with a chair or stacking your bolsters up. You can use a couch if you have a nearby couch. You just put your legs up. So like this and having it, and you could go higher and stacking them higher and doing this. I really like this pose. It's one, like I said, when I'm watching TV, I might sprawl out on the couch and we have a really high back to the couch and I'll put my feet up over it. So again, we're just going to hang out here for 10 minutes and I'm going to get out of that pose because I really don't want my back to you and just enjoy. Sort of hang out what works best for you. And so there's lots of benefits to this pose. As I mentioned, it's a really neat one to do before going to bed. Because your legs are higher than your head, it helps your heart to sort of refresh and circulate through your body, to get all the circulation going through your body. And if you're stressed or fatigued, this pose is refreshing to relieve stress. So again, it's, another calming pose, right? They're all calming. It's restorative yoga. So, yep, just enjoy for 10 minutes, down to about 9 actually, and just breathing in. Again, this might be where you think about that intention you set. Breathe it in. Exhale it out into the world. And, how are you feeling? Are you feeling different in your body than when we started? And I forgot to mention that you could have a blanket under your head if that is more comfortable for you. Certainly do that. Certainly do that. Again, this is your practice. You need to make it your own and what works for you while being safe. Just breathing in and out, in and out. Just think about that. Observe your breath. Notice how you're breathing, just observing it. Perhaps you key into how your stomach or chest is rising and falling. And if at any point this becomes uncomfortable, like this is your practice, you're free to come in and out of the poses. So if you do decide to come out, you want to, again, bend your knees, push away from the wall, and then come onto your side. Imagine yourself settling in. Maybe it's the end of the day for you, or you're getting ready to go off and do something. How is this feeling in your body? Are your hips feeling any differently after all these exercises? What about your legs? Your neck or shoulders? Just settling into that breath. The breath is our anchor. It can help to calm us. What are your legs feeling like up against the wall? Do you feel like you have added length? And how is your back? Are you feeling the circulation moving throughout your body? Imagine that. Imagine as you're circulating energy, as you're laying with your legs up against the wall or on the chair or your bolsters or couch, whatever position that you're in, with your legs are elevated. And the point of that, right, is that your legs are elevated and they're higher than your head. And so your energy is moving throughout, and it it says that it causes a downward pull of energy to be reversed. So it's adding that energy as it goes through your into your head, down through your chest, and then up your legs, right? Because your legs are higher, so it's moving up and then back down. And so that, I like to think of that flow, right? Imagining the wave of going in and out. Our breath, a wave, circulation. It's funny how that's all sort of linked. We have a little less than 5 more minutes. And breathing in and out. Observing how your body is feeling. The rising and falling of your chest or stomach. Got another minute. Okay, as you get ready to come out, remember that you're bending your knees to the wall. You're up against the wall. You don't want to just come out and drop down. You want to bend those knees and pull away, slide to your side, use your hand to get up, and then come into a seated position. Great. So now we're ready for Savasana. I really would like for you to set up your area to however it's going to be comfortable for you. You could be lying down flat or have, towels or blankets under your head. Use props for your legs. Really honor your body and what it's asking you for. A lot of times when I do Shavasana, I will use a prop under my legs, lay down and have a towel or blanket under my head. You might decide that you want to cover up with a shawl. Some people will do actually the butterfly pose that we did, where you have your legs bent and then slide them to come out in the shape of like butterfly wings. They'll do that and slide back down. Put bolsters or blocks under your arms. Really use this time to decide what it is that you need to do or you want to do. I'm going to be seated up for Shavasana so that I'll be seated up here, but please make this your own. So take a few minutes to get ready. I'm going to see if I can get the music cued. Okay, here we go. So with Shavasana, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you're comfortable. You're doing what is best for you and supporting yourself. So laying down on your mat, I invite you to either have your eyes, you could be lying down or sitting, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Make sure that your body is supported in a way that feels good. I invite you to either close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Again, whatever is your practice and whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to be in Shavasana for about 12 minutes. And it's a deep relaxation, an opportunity to just let things go and to remember that this is your time. It is your time on the mat. And so thank you for showing up and doing that. So as we settle in, I invite you to notice your breath. Just observe it. Breathing in and out. In and out. Perhaps as you're breathing in and out, you think of this mantra, Soham. Inhale So and exhale Ham. It is meaning I am part of the divine. I am part of creation. So again, you can say this to yourself as you inhale So, exhale Ham. Feel the energy of the universe, the divine, as you inhale it into your heart center and exhale the energy back into the world. With your next inhale, imagine breathing in this energy as it fills your body. You feel the divine energy entering your heart area, flowing throughout your body, and exhaling back into the world. Do this a few times, breathing in this energy into your heart center, and observe it as it flows throughout your body. The warmth and energy flowing into your nostrils, warming your forehead, flowing down into your upper chest, into your heart center, your shoulders, down your arms, hands, fingers, back up into your chest, into your abdomen, your hips, your legs, your feet, and out your toes. Energy and warmth flowing, an ebb and flow of energy and warmth. Rest in this ebb and flow, just basking in the energy and the warmth. The energy and warmth as you breathe in and out. And just gliding along, imagining the energy, the warmth, circulating throughout your body as you inhale it in and exhale it out. You are part of the divine, or whatever is your custom to call it. Inhale So and exhale Hum as you think about the divine, as you are breathing in and out, in and out. Perhaps the sound of the music feels as if it's washing over your body, adding to that energy and warmth and calming feeling. Perhaps you think back to the intention that you set, breathing that in and exhaling it out. Just enjoy this time of Shavasana, a time of rest, nourishing your body. We have a few more minutes. Just enjoy this time. Again, remembering the ebb and flow, the warmth and energy as it enters your body, and exhaling it back into the world. breathing in and out, nourishing your body, thanking your body for showing up. I want to invite you to welcome movement back into your body, perhaps stretching or wiggling your toes, your fingers. If you are lying down, I invite you to roll onto one side, taking a few breaths in and out, like that of when you were a baby, laying in the fetal position. Just breathing in and out. Begin to use your hands to help move you into a seated position, moving gently, taking your time. If your eyes are closed, you may want to flutter them open. And just begin to acclimate yourself back to the space. I want to thank you for taking this time to practice. And take a big inhale, moving your arms up. Exhale, arms down into prayer hands. Again, I want to thank you for showing up. And the teacher and student in me recognizes the teacher and student in you. Thank you. And remember to be kind to yourself, and that we are all welcome to do yoga. It is available to everybody. Thank you, and namaste.